Hi, and welcome to Session Dynamics 102, Opening and Closing Auction. An important part of the rhythm of the money flow is the first part of the session and the last part of the session. And what you will see, if you look at a normal volume chart, you'll see a lot of volume at the beginning, then drying up, maybe some spikes here and there in the middle, typically doing breakouts or doing V reversals. And then at the end, the very peak of volume. And that happens because before market opens, traders of all sizes and all sorts can send the exchange something called market on open orders. So orders that will be executed by the exchange in the first few minutes of the market auction. And you will typically have released in financialjuice.com, which is a free website for looking at news. This is a data that, you can, it's provided directly by the exchanges. You will have a market on open imbalance. That, for example, in this case was bearish. And as you can see, the first candle, the first volume was with a very purple delta. So the market on open imbalance tells us, is there an imbalance between buying and selling, either aggressive or passive? And how much is that? Throughout the session, then, market participants of all sorts will try to fill all of their orders, but they might not be able to fill all of them. So the orders that they were not able to fill throughout the sessions will enter the market at the end of the session on the form of market on close orders. And the exchange will release a market on close imbalance. An imbalance between buyers and sellers of market on close orders. And even here you can see on the S&P 500 we have minus 92 million. It's not much. We normally see way more. And you had a purple clear selling delta type of volume. And that's where most, the single biggest volume candle happens in every single session. Okay, this is another session. It's exactly the same. A little more at the beginning, pretty stable throughout the first part of the session, low in the middle, then typically higher volume in the so-called power hour. So the last, let's say, next few hours of the session, and then the big boom of volume, which is normally completely absorbed, by the way. It normally does not very often cause big price movement in the last 5 minutes of the session because it's just a settlement type of order flow, and it's mostly, filled mostly at the same price, so that you're not going to see a lot of movement typically in these parts of the session. But let's take an example. Let's take a look. Let's take directly a look. And if you zoom out with this type of template, you can also see in a different way that this is the extended trading hours, and this is the regular trading hours. More volume, more color, more delta, more color. And at the market on open, you will have a lot of volume, a lot of trading activity, a lot of absorptions going on here and there, a lot of darkness, a lot of delta, and big price swings. Not always, but very often. Then we wait until the end of the session. We go to the end. And here you see we get close to the closing of the session, and you see most of the volume being traded. The highest concentration of volume in few candles. And you'll see a lot of 1K, 2K, 1K, a lot of volumes in the last part of the cash session, a lot of absorption. There's a feast of market makers right at the end of the session because they know there's a lot of orders, so they provide liquidity. And the candle of 21:59 European time, 3:59 local time will typically have a lot of contracts. The biggest one, 44,000 contracts in a single candle. Okay, and that's the closing auction. That's what happens because all of these market on close orders are entering the market. This is a very important thing you need to know about the auctions in indices and in most futures trading at the CME.